1, 2, 3.
Before, obviously, and this topic on feeding into each other, so feeding into another person, sort of came up, and it's something that's been mentioned or that I've discussed with people in the past, and the kind of basic understanding of it is that in a relationship, in a friendship, family, whatever it is, or in a working relationship, in your sort of corporate environment, is that you sort of feed into a person and that person feeds into you. So using, I guess, a relationship as an example, the concept is you're looking to build an empire, whatever, you feed into your partner by giving them love in the way that they want to receive it. So not just looking at love languages, but also looking at how or what they're trying to achieve in their life and sort of feeding into that aspect. So feeding into their growth, their development, them taking it to the next level and seeing what you can do to empower that person.
It's like support versa. Almost.
That sort of support, and also that person doing the same for you. So you could be into swimming, them telling you and showing you about different events that are happening, different swimming techniques,
sending you a video
swimming
about
coaches,
new techniques.
Just stuff like that is giving you that real value. And it's not just funny things, it's things that you can actually take.
Oh, you're into swimming. Do you
not
see
just
this person drown?
Yeah, see that man?
Ain't that feeding into you? No, my bad.
Not just like receiving memes, but really looking at the deeper end or the deeper side of them helping you develop and grow.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting conversation because a lot of the times when you look at relationships and your friendships and really analyze the dynamic, what you sort of find is a lot of differences. Like you sometimes may find that you're feeding more into your friends and those people than they are necessarily feeding into you.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting conversation because on one hand, it's like you're giving so much more than they are, but then on the other hand, they could be feeding into you, but you might not necessarily.
It's like you were saying about the measurements.
Yeah, or appreciate. And it kind of links to this thing of we judge people based on our metrics and our metrics of success. So the example I gave before was, say again, I have, I don't know, a charity that donates to dogs and looks after dogs, make sure dogs don't become hot dogs. We just, stop them from turning into hot dogs, that kind of thing. You have or you donate to charities. Them dad ones there. Right, kids, why did chicken cross the road? Say you had a charity as well, and you donated to various charities, but you donated to charities that related to pigeons.
Yeah.
You didn't want pigeon fish fingers or pigeon fingers or whatever it was, pigeon wings. And I kind of look at you like, why haven't you given anything to my charity? Why don't you give to dog charities? Why are you giving to pigeons? Who cares? Pigeons are flying rats anyway. What's wrong with this guy? And it's not that you're not giving and you don't care. It's just that we value things very differently.
Yeah.
So the way you view it is, no, pigeons are my thing, or young children are my thing. And for me, it's animals.
Yeah.
And seeing you give disproportionately to children over the animals, I might then look at you through a different lens of what going here, man? And it's something that I've sort of seen in a lot of my relationships where I might try and reach out to people, call them, whatever, and they won't necessarily reach out back as often. But then when I see them in person, they give me 115%.
Yeah.
And it took me a while growing up to really understand that we are all different. Like, again, we all view things and judge things by different lenses. Me and you could watch the same movie, but we could have very different kind of opinions on it. That movie was trash. What
do you mean it was trash?
Great.
That's the best film of 2019.
That's what I'm saying. That's his best work.
Yeah.
And I see it in, like, when I look at Amazon reviews. Sometimes it's 5-star. Yeah, this is a great product. Came quickly. Sometimes it's 1-star. Nah, you know what, mate? I want a refund.
Yeah.
It just didn't really, wasn't big enough. And it's like, we all just look through things through very different lenses. And it's I think it's important to understand because it helps us to see why, or just to understand a lot of people a lot better.
It's such a difficult one though.
It's tough.
It's almost, we do live in a kind of world where it's give and take. So like we will feel bad. Like the example you was giving is if you're constantly messaging your friend and they're not responding to you the same way, you're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
They're not meeting me halfway. They're not reflecting the effort or the energy that I'm putting in. And I get the aspect of sometimes we're blind to the fact that they might do things in different ways. So they might not respond every single time you message them. But what they might do is come round to your house and speak to you face to face. But we don't see that like quite often. I think we're kind of trapped in us. Why don't you do this for me?
Yeah.
Me. And,
It's that self.
get me started on this.
Fam, it's the whole, but it's also that self-indulgent aspect of, like you said, it's very me-centered.
Me oriented.
Like,
why don't you do this? I do this for you.
But it makes sense because obviously all you have is your perspective.
Yeah.
All you have is the lens through which you see your life, the way you kind of see it. And it's actually, there's a concept behind it because it's like, let's say, you go Sainsbury's, you do your shop, whatever, there are other people there. In your mind, it's like you're the movie star and they're all like backup people. They're all like
you're in the
extras.
way, come on, move out the way,
they're like extras of your life.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they've got their own life and they're a star of their life. There was like a concept for it. I can't remember what it was called, but it's sick. And it's like, we don't really think about people in that way. Like, I'm not thinking about the guy shopping in Sainsbury's. He's living his life. I'm living mine. In his eyes, he's the star of his show. In my eyes, I'm the star of mine. And we have our own different ways.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, again, like just looking back to friendships and relationships and just thinking about how the dynamic plays out. But it's even, I think, on a greater level with like parents and children. Because I think the way I sort of see it is like with parents, they give
they don't
everything to their kids.
They're not expecting anything back.
And like kids are just there like, okay. But they're not even thinking about, maybe not until they're a lot older. Kids aren't thinking, my parents do.
Yeah.
Like when you really deep it.
Don't worry, don't wake up at 2:00 in the morning. I got this. Sorry, mum.
I'm going to check my own Pampers. Don't
worry.
Food, clothing, school. Like there's so much pressure. Like so much pressure on parents. Because I remember seeing this poster recently. I'm in like a million WhatsApp groups. I've started to leave some of them. There's too many. They just, they just spam you. You mute, but they just keep spamming. But there was like a poster on how it was for parents who have children. And it was basically around the kind of pressures and how they can deal with mentally the stress of kind of having children, especially in London. Because of all the like, not just London, but the whole knife crime thing and the fear of being a parent coming home and your child has just been stabbed or even worse, been killed. And it's like how to kind of deal with that. And how to get to a point where you're dealing with the awkward conversations with that child as opposed to having to go to their funeral. And it's like, let's tackle the silences now. If there are any issues at home in terms of, or at school in terms of drug problems or bullying or just that awkwardness, let's tackle it now.
Yeah.
Let's not kind of walk around it so that we're not in that worst position where we find out Charlie's been on drugs for like 4 years because he's been stressed out at school. Let's deal with it now. Yeah. And it's just tough to kind of see how they feed into their kids and kids feed into their parents, but in a different way. I think the fact that they're alive, the joy that children bring to their parents in and of itself is the feeding into them.
Yeah.
But it's just not, again, it's not that equal sort of, we do this for you, we work. It's not reciprocated in that exact same way. But then the relationships still work because it's just parent and child. And
it's unconditional love a lot of the times.
And it's
and
so
I
tough.
I think that's where the problem stems from. We don't really have unconditional love for others.
Yeah.
Because if you had unconditional love for other people, you wouldn't be upset like most of the time by them not doing something for you.
Bro, the world would be a completely different place if that was the case.
Yeah.
Completely. Because even in the film I watched, it did touch on that. It was obviously not a real film, but I think it was Interstellar.
Okay.
And it mentioned a point about how they just said something about they wouldn't leave a lot of things to human nature because we can't see past our own like offspring. We can't see past our own bloodline in that unconditional love and that feeding to others is very limited past your own children. And we see it in the animal kingdom where a lion will only look after their own cubs kind of thing. If any outsider comes in, they're going to attack it, more likely to kill it. Even elephants are savage in that a lot of them abandon their own kids a lot of the time. And it's just the way things are. I'm not saying it's right, but it's so tough to feed into other people in a world where some parents don't even feed into like their own offspring.
Yeah.
And this is the real world. This is animal kingdom. I feel like a lot of the times we as humans forget that we're part of this animal kingdom. We like to say, yeah, we're humans, we're top of the chain, but we're still part of this. We're still part of the same ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like understanding that. Because I was just like analyzing a lot of like my friendships and my relationships and just kind of thinking, okay, how do I feed into this person? How does this person feed into me? And it links back to a point that we mentioned in so many other episodes of you're the average of your 5 closest friends. And the more they feed into you positively, the more positive things you take in, the more you give back out, and vice versa.
Mm.
And I've read a book, I can't remember which, I've read this quite a few times, where you're more likely to give and help when other people have helped you.
Yeah.
And it's just part of human nature. So I need to...
Man needs to... Human nature got you right there.
Yeah, it literally got me sneezing. But no, I think the feeding into you is a big part of human nature, in that if I'm naturally more likely to give to Anton because Anton's given to me, we're feeding into each other.
But do you not think that's a dangerous thing? You're only starting to feed into me more because I've started to feed into you. Not
really. I think a lot of it, this is going way back, but I think that there are like evolutionary benefits to that. So in a society, a lot of the times, and this happens with like bee workers as well. So with bee workers, you know how it is. There's a queen bee. She just does her thing, popping out babies and that. Hail queen bee. All the other bee workers, they work. They go get the honey. Yeah. They attack. They've all got roles. The bees that tend to produce the least honey, or that tend to go too far away, or that smell of other areas, they get their legs cut off, or they kind of cut them off from coming into the thing. And that is their way of saying, if you do not contribute and give as much as everyone else is, you're not part of us. Like, you can't sit with us, literally. And when you think about it, if we go back to caveman times, if me and you are hunting, getting meat and stuff, and then Larry's over there bringing sticks, or let me not say sticks because he can still do fire. Mud. Man's bringing mud or nothing. It's kind of like, bro, like, you need to level up. Like, this is not.
I got air, guys.
Yeah, I got air. I don't know what it does, but I got some air, and it's kind of like, bro, we're in a position where we could literally die if you don't feed into this. If you don't contribute, we could all die. Our lives are dependent on how hard you work and how much you put in. And if you're not putting in, we can't grow. So you're not doing too much right here, bro, kind of thing. So I think obviously evolutionary, there has been those aspects where feeding into someone has made sense, which is why I think we as humans, or I'll be more likely to give to you if you've given to me. In terms of the dangers, were you going to say an example on that? Because I'm trying to think, like...
No, because I think it goes... Because it's about perspective again. So, like, all right, Larry came through with air. Yeah. But at that time, you're not seeing it as an important element, right? So you're like, Larry, go long. But then something happens. There's no air in your cave anymore.
Man said there's no air.
There's no air in your cave anymore. So that's when you need Larry. And that's when you're like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have cut off Larry because Larry actually had an important, element too.
It's tough because I guess at that moment in time, you're not thinking... in a week's time, man's going to run out of her in the cave.
You're just thinking about now, innit?
Yeah, you're thinking about...
what are you doing for me now? But that's
what
that whole language in itself, what are you doing for me now? That's kind of... like, admittedly, that's something I think of. And I'm catching myself a lot more going, that's not great, thinking that way.
But it's... not to justify it, but I feel it's a big part of current society now. Like, in a time where people are like, yeah, but what are you doing for me now?
Yeah.
Because, like, with... like all these online programs, all these ads that are like, I can show you 5 ways to make $50,000 in a week. And it's like, click on the link now. Well, I've looked into a lot of those things and they kind of say you have to give, whether it's like a free PDF or free tutorial or webinar, you have to kind of give. It's the whole clickbait thing of before people are willing to commit to you, they want to receive. And I get why you said that, because again, that's just the society we live in. Like, people want, and they want it now.
What's in it for me?
What do
if
I
I'm
gain
going to give you 2
this?
minutes, am I going to get a free PDF that has all the material that I need?
Will I get the knowledge I want?
Yeah.
And it's that kind of piece around kind of just looking at society now where people are just given so much. It's not all valuable, but they're given so much. They're feeding into the world that the world is kind of like at a point now where people are very expectant of it. Well, everyone else does. Even with deliveries, people will want to put things in the cart. If they see more than zero for post and packaging, they're removing it from the cart. And I've done it myself. I'm like, why am I paying? Expectation. Why am I paying? Feed into me. I'm used to getting free delivery. How dare you tell me you're going to send it second class? It's going to take more than 4 days. I want it tomorrow. And Amazon Prime,
they give you that option though, where you have to pay extra.
Fam, even Amazon Prime's moving to same day delivery now.
Yeah.
Same, what? Even Boohoo, no, not Boohoo, ASOS. Same day. I'm like,
come on.
But this again, this is the world we're sort of living in, that things are just moving so exponentially. We want it, we need it, we want it now.
Yeah.
Feed into me on what I want now.
Yeah.
Give it. I don't care.
Do you not see the dangers in that? from a human aspect.
Yeah. It's crazy because there's the way people kind of explain it is that we as humans naturally we're quite lazy. Understandable is fine. We're animals, we graze, blah blah blah, and the world we've developed has been accommodated for that. So transportation, everything, ease, everything we have is speed, to kind of speed and make things a lot easier and faster. And that the detriment is that we're moving to a place where a lot of AI is going to take over. So machines are doing a lot of our jobs and processes, and it's kind of like to what extent. And then there've been a few interviews with people like Elon Musk, who is just known for his intelligence in terms of AI and that sort of thing. And he said, look, I'm scared. I'm a billionaire. I'm good. I'm smart. I'm scared that they will take over. And this is a man who's making rockets. He's literally rocket scientist. So he has the knowledge. And for him to say that, people are listening going, okay, we're a bit worried now. Like, you know what you're talking about. You're saying we're doing too much. I don't know if you remember, this was like, I can't remember, this was what, 18 months ago or so, where wasn't it like Facebook were doing experiments with these computers and they had to shut it down because they were talking to each other.
They developed their own sort of language, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" I don't know if it was Facebook; it was a different company.
It was some company. I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Artificial intelligence, and they started communicating to each other. You're like,
I'm like, what's there to talk about?
This is too advanced, guys. No.
We just said make eggs. Doing combo, talking in Chinese. No. And it's just stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, I can see how this is a bit worrying. Like, where's this? Because again, I see your point in that. I'm just worried it's just going to get to a point where, I don't know. It's tough because again, I do see the value. It's like with Just Eat, the whole point is to not cook, order something. It comes very quickly. Yes, there's value in that, but at what detriment? At what cost? People are getting a lot lazier, putting on a lot more weight. It's tough. It's
in a kind of stuck place right
now. It's tough.
My element is just the whole wanting, or I guess evaluating your relationships with other people based on what they're doing for you. It's a very dangerous place to be in. And I'm guilty of it. And this is what I mean. This is like a transformation of like a week of going, oh, hold on, wait, that's kind of bad. And not realizing that there's other aspects to people. I think I've said it before, like way back when I used to cut people off because they wasn't feeding into me on the kind of like personal development sort of realm. I'm like, wow, you guys are draining, negative, cut off. I don't want to be around you. But then it's understanding that they might have different aspects to them.
That's the thing.
That might feed into you, but you're not even realizing it.
Or in a different way.
Not saying that you should surround yourself with those people, but you should also identify those characteristics in those people, rather than saying, you know what, you're trash because all you do is speak negative.
Yeah, it's a good point, because I know earlier you sort of mentioned the point around having blind spots.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's sort of where that aspect will feed into it, in that you might be on personal development, this person might be chatting according to you maybe was or just air, but then from a blind spot angle, actually when you reach a certain level, a lot of what they're doing could be highly valuable. So you might just be on exercise and the mental, this person's like, let's go to events. You're like, that's not relevant to anything I'm doing right now. But in the next 6 months, networking, building your relationships and networks with other people, your net worth is your network, or the other way around, or whatever it is. And then that value is there. And it's like, okay, cool. Should I have got that person off?
It's kind of almost, remember, I guess, I am ETS. Yes, guys, transformational speaker.
Cool. Come on.
When he said, I'm going to love you from a distance, that hit me. That was like, I've cut people off, but I don't really have to. I could just love them from a distance. And when the time is right, I can reach out one arm, one hand and be like, come here.
Come, bro.
If you need it, I'm there. And I thought, wow, that is powerful. And he was, what, 18?
Young boy, yeah.
Talking about that.
18,
I was like, okay, it makes sense. And then when you start adding those pieces on and go, okay, I cut off people for X, Y, and Z. There's different aspects to my life.
Yeah.
You don't want to make it what you've deemed as making it successful and whatever. And then look back and be like, where is everyone?
Yeah. I think that's an important part of success. And even going back to that point of like, can't people off and everything. I think I've learned that in this kind of concept of feeding into people and people feeding into you, it's not all about what people can do for you.
Yeah.
Like there's this piece, and we touched on it before we started recording, and that sometimes just give. And I've seen a few quotes from people kind of sharing them on WhatsApp and stuff, sort of saying, just give of yourself and give selflessly. Don't be selfish. Just give generously and just give.
Yeah.
keep giving.
Yeah.
And I was just there like, how much giving we doing right here, man? What's all this about?
There's only one of me. Like.
There's only one, but I do get it. Like, we live in a world where I feel, and for me, the world just needs a bit more love. And the way to start that is by giving. Not necessarily in any, like,
My
and
bank
there's
number
more,
is 5,
yeah,
2.
so yeah, but in sort of many different ways, not just financially, emotionally, spiritually, like just walked into an era, positive energy, giving people the right vibe, energy, love, information, directions. Having sort of said that, to all the people I've given directions, if I've ever given you wrong directions, I am so sorry. Because I'll be there confident, like, yeah, look, you go down the road, you turn left at Wicknock Street, and then you keep going down. Then fam, I'll keep walking. I'm like, did I give the person?
I just passed Wicknock
I'm
Street.
like, I swear, I'm like, this is Wicknock Street right here. And I'm just like, this person's gonna hate me. It's the first time in London I've given them. Yeah,
I've done that as well.
I'm just like,
I've done that.
I'm like, was that right?
I sent them the long way round when it's just literally a 2-minute on the left hand side.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to all those people. I hope you're okay. I hope you're not
They
still
made
lost.
it. They asked someone else.
Yeah, probably.
Probably lost trust in people. This is why I don't trust people.
These
The one time
Londoners.
I stepped out of my comfort zone. I asked a random person and they sent me in the wrong direction.
How dare they? But it for me, again, it's this point of, because one thing I've been quite conscious of is to not cut people off. I guess it does relate to that point about loving from a distance, and that I've always kind of said to myself, do I have the right, is it fair for me to cut this person off because they're not where I am?
They're not feeding into your
They're
life.
not kind of doing, yeah, but it's that whole point of, I've come to this decision at this point. This is what I want to do. Maybe it's sports. Just because you're not doing sports, does that give me the right to cut you off? Let me not even love you from a distance. You're maybe the person who I hang out with when it comes to having fun and going out. You know how to live life. That's what I kind of take from you, and that this person knows how to live life for now and today. They might not be the best with money. They might not be best with long-term thinking, but in terms of enjoying life now, which is all we have, the present, it's called the present for a reason.
Yeah.
This is the person.
Yeah.
So the value is there, but again, just on that different metric level, on that different kind of aspect. And just, I think that for me has been like the biggest learning lesson, in that we all do things differently. We feed into each other, but on different levels. Yeah, I can't take this oxygen, pull it into my bank account and do a madness, but without it,
Oh, look,
you know?
wake up.
yeah, just like I think, and for me, it's that piece of just understanding that all the furniture in the world, that kind of saying of part of the furniture, there for a reason, and you don't really appreciate it until you don't really have it, or it's not really there.
I'm not saying that every single relationship that you have has to exist.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So they might be furniture and they might need to be chucked into the dump.
Yeah, eBay thing.
You know, they're not necessary for you and what you need to do. It's just more just understanding that, just be selfless. You know, there's going to be, especially if you've got your circle and you hear people complain about certain stuff about you, you can give a bit more. You know, you get that thinking. So if someone goes, I wish that we met up every 6 weeks, and you're telling yourself, well, you're not on my level because I'm deep in my grind.
Yeah.
You could actually find time in that period of time. What, 7 times 6, 42 days? You've got 42 days to find, I don't know, a phone call.
Yeah.
You know, a Saturday, just breakfast. You can make it work.
Yeah. No, you're right.
There's no more like excuses.
I've done that, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because I did that with my boys, Femi, in that I'd sort of call him every so often. Like, I try and contact people probably every couple of weeks, every month, just to kind of say, like, touching. Just, I hope you're good. What's good? Blah blah blah. If I can't message, I voice note a lot now. He didn't respond for a couple of times. I was just like, I won't go apart. I was just like, F this guy, man. Like, bro, like,
that's what I mean.
It's that whole feeding. So I'm like, I'm trying to feed, not in a kind of self.
I'm trying to nurture this relationship.
Yeah, I'm trying to nurture. I'm trying to, you know, make sure everything's good. I was just like, okay, whatever. But then I had to take a step back and kind of be like, maybe he's dealing with stuff. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know. So let me not make myself the star of this show. Let me kind of settle down, move back and be like, okay, cool, he's doing his thing. Then he just randomly messaged me one day, and I was just like, Femi? Like, you dying? Like, what's going on? But it was good because, again, we got on the phone, and it was just that conversation piece of, I've been busy, I've got other things, and I'm like, I appreciate that. And just, I think it's that understanding piece. But what I did want to ask you is that, in this point of like being selfless and giving to others and feeding into other people, at what point do you kind of take a step back and say no more? Because, again, we mentioned before that some people will take and take and take, and they don't understand the back and forth of the feeding aspect. And because a lot of people have just been raised and just been given stuff. Their parents,
all you can eat buffet.
Their parents
don't even wash out the plates.
All you can eat. That's the thing, because their parents have maybe had a lack of, and they've kind of said to themselves, "I will give my kids everything that they want." And there are people who are just used to getting what they want when they want, and they're not used to being told no. So what do you do when you're in a position where you're being selfless? You're cooking the food for this buffet. These people are eating it, saying, "We want more. Where's the wings? Where's the fries? What did I order?"
That's just a
They're asking for more.
That's a communication thing. Listen, I don't like you. You have to tackle it in an aspect of, let's claim it's a friendship.
Yeah.
For this friendship to work, yes, I'm there for you 100%, and I'm gonna keep on being there for you. It is starting to have an impact on me. Like, if someone really cares, they're gonna be like,
"I hear you." They'll be like, "I hear what you're saying." They'll be like, "I hear what you're saying." But it's just.
There's an element again, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to remind yourself. You can't overexert yourself in these sort of moments. You only you have that awareness of going, you know what, this is way too much. But we have become a bit accustomed to, I guess, living. I want to say a bit comfortable, like not pushing ourselves fully. So making ourselves available for friends, but only like 50%, 60%, but not really making a true effort to be there, if that makes sense.
Kind of.
So like you could say, do you know sometimes you speak to your boys? Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, link up soon. Yeah. That's like half-hearted.
Yeah. It's not.
There's no 100%, I'm taking responsibility. Yeah, we said we're going to link up. My responsibility is I'm going to set a date and we're going to make it happen. Or at least I'm going to take responsibility of making it happen. Meet me somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's what I meant by it. Like, you have to be like, I think from the aspect of it is, as long as you feel that you're taking responsibility, so rather than complaining about stuff, we don't meet up anymore. Yeah. Take on that responsibility rather than playing this whole role of, we don't meet up anymore because Michelle, she got into a new relationship and da-da-da-da-da. All you can do in this life is try. Yeah. You only got now, innit? Yeah. So now pick up your phone and go, Michelle, I want to see you a lot more. I feel that our friendship's kind of gone to the side. I'm going to actively make a promise to you to see you more often. Yeah. What about next week, Tuesday? If Tuesday doesn't work, how about a phone call? Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah. Facts. No, it's so true, because I think people are quick to, are you free on Friday? Oh, I can't do Friday. Oh, okay. And that'll sort of be it.
But we take it as, that's a rejection, so I'm going to leave it there. Yeah. That's what I mean. There's so much to it.
There's definitely more to it. But again,
this friend don't want to try. There is an element of that. Sometimes there's just friends that don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Boy. But I think, but it goes back to that point of, like you said, some people may just prefer phone calls.
You just have to find out.
Max is saving for a house, doesn't want to meet Michelle. Yeah. Michelle, I can't afford to go out. We can talk on the phone.
Meet them halfway.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah. Pick up the phone. How you doing? It's been a minute. Let's really chop things up.
Well, you don't have credit. I'll call you.
2019. But no, it's so true. It is just the way it is. And I think I've definitely been trying to like improve, I guess, extending that kind of olive branch, because there's cases where I've been in situations now where sort of I'll go to an event or whatever it is, I might post or share the kind of thing I've been to, and then people sort of be like, oh, that looked great. Yeah. I wish I was there. Bring me. And I'm like, oh, like I genuinely just never thought or never knew that you might be interested in this thing. But by them kind of just saying that, I now know, okay, cool, next time I go to this event, Anton or Michael might want to come. Bro, there's an event. Look, I just bought a ticket. Do you want one as well? I can buy two, or are you on it?
Again, that's a whole nother level to it, because that's, you're kind of thinking about yourself when you're booking these things. Yeah. And this is what I mean. You kind of have to be, I am no expert at it. I'm just trying to learn this. But when you start understanding people better, you know what they're going to be interested in. Yes. So you should be like, I'm going to this, but I know so-and-so is going to be interested, because you've got a deeper connection. Yeah. And there's another aspect of it, going back to the start of this conversation about, pouring into other people or feeding into other people. There's this whole aspect of like, let's say, for instance, let's give an example of someone. Someone wants to be a travel blogger. Yeah. So they're on the court. They're playing the game of being a travel blogger. But you're just, you're on the sideline, you're coaching. You're like, yeah, go on, write that blog. Yeah, I read it. Go on, 2 more. Whereas you could actually join them on that pitch in some type of capacity. Not be traveling with them, but you could join them somehow.
Yes.
You know, you might hear their problems. Yeah, I'm finding it real difficult to find that motivation. You know, I find myself on a Saturday watching Netflix. You could be like, all right, cool. On Saturday, I'm coming to your house. We're turning off the TV. I've got work to do. Let's do it together.
Yeah. Accountability. 2-3 hours, let's get it done. Then we can watch that Netflix.
It's mad to think about it. Like, we think grand. We think like, oh, I can't help them because all they want to do is write this blog and I can't help them.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it in a different type of way and go, all right, I hear their problems.
Yeah.
They're on the pitch saying they've lost productivity. They're not, you know, they've got writer's block. What can you do to help them along that journey? Is it something where you inspire them and say, look, there's this cool event that I saw that's relating to this travel blogger and she's sharing her story. Not really into it, but I'll go with you. And it could just be that little spark. But it takes a lot to think like that because we're so, oh shit, my life, oh my gosh.
Self kind of, yeah.
I know I've got that BT bill coming soon. We're not thinking like that.
It's the kind of everyday aspect of life kind of comes into it.
Yeah, but on that, sorry, let me quickly land on the last bit. When I was going back on how like it's unconditional love, especially from a parent, they're thinking like that. They're looking at their child and going, all right, Timmy said he's struggling with maths. I'm going to do everything to get him a tutor. I'm going to spend Saturday morning in a coffee shop and we're going to go through maths together. And we lost that simply based on life, society and everything like that. Yeah. But it's scary that, you know, I'm only having this realization now going, right, what have I actually been doing? Like I support people, but I'm not with them. If that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, check out this blog. I'll send them article. Yeah, check that. But I'm not actually holding their hand and going, come on, let's walk on this pitch together.
But should you be? Because that's kind of where I was going to go. And then that, in feeding into people and them feeding into you, there are obviously limits and limitations in that we all take things differently. So you could be there going, Mike, come, let's go grab him. And he's walking. He's like, I can do it myself. Kind of. But you know what I mean? Because I've kind of met that where I'm like, oh man, this guy's a star. This guy's going to go far. Yeah. Bro, here's this thing. What? I can do it myself. I don't. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me fall back. Yeah. Like, I get it in that we all take things very differently.
How about a conversation of how can I help you then?
I think I was going to get, my point was going to be, I was going to get to the point of wording. No, you're 100% right in that wording is very important in that we're saying the same things, but language. I might be like, Michael, do this, man. Whereas you might be like, Michael, have you thought about this from this angle? He's like, oh yeah. It's like, you're not making that person feel some type of way, like they don't know what they're doing or condescending or in that sort of, it's that angle of, look, listen, I see what you're doing from a distance, your blind spot, this is what I've observed. Is it maybe a potential that you could look, yeah, you're right, you know, kind of thing. And it's all like angles as well. I think it's just weird. It's difficult because again, everyone kind of takes things in different ways.
But that's why we're all unique.
Everyone's just so special in that we all just receive things very, very differently. Like people have told me things, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. They're like, oh, are you sure? Because when I usually tell people, it's like they just get a bit upset. I'm like, because I'm just like, it depends on the type of person you are. I'm around a lot of objective people who will just say it how it is.
That's a whole nother angle of it because we kind of group our friendships or like the responses that we expect from people rather than, I guess, realizing that everyone's different.
Individuals.
And that's the challenge of it. Like when you were saying about, you know, you put up videos of when you do stuff like skydiving.
Yeah.
You're thinking, a lot of my friends ain't, you know, down for that. Yeah. Rather than going, okay, Claire, all right, Michael, yeah, Dammy, yeah. Oh, Nathan. Yeah. He's down.
It's crazy because even on that, like, so what I've started doing now is with posting things, as opposed to going to people individually, I just, again, like I post a lot of things on WhatsApp, like the actual status, and people who I wouldn't normally think would even, first of all, view that sort of thing, and then actually comment and say, this looks sick, bring me. And I'm like, okay, you're into this.
Yeah, I never knew.
Here's the link. Yeah. Or people are like, that looks fun. Try Next time you go, let me know. I'm like, bro, try it. I'm there. Look, this the discount code. You get 10%, and I'm
putting
just
yourself
like,
out there as well.
That's the thing, putting yourself out there and just kind of putting those feelers out. And it's that other aspect of feeding into people, because it's that aspect of, this is what I'm doing. This is my sphere. This is my circle. This is my world. This is what I enjoy. If there are aspects of it that you would like to, or that you're interested in, I'm here. You can see I'm doing it. Oh, that looks sick. I want to come next time. let me know. Go-karting, I'm there. And I'm like, yes. Like, it's just good to kind of share the love in that aspect. And obviously everyone does it in different ways. Some people is Twitter, some is Facebook, YouTube, podcast. There are obviously so many different mediums of being able to kind of share and present that.
But do you not think that's great? I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
That's something that I need to start doing more. But there's also another level to it or layer to it. It's just literally saying to people, look, this is what I'm doing. Just actually speaking to people, like connecting to people and that sort. Because now we're using a medium. Like we're using like socials to connect more to people.
There's nothing, but isn't that the whole purpose? And I guess to that first point of, it's contextual. So are you saying to just go up to like Michael and be like, Mike, I'm going France next week, and he's just like, what is it that me and him have had conversations about traveling, or like, is there context to it? Do you mean?
This is why I'm not too sure. I find it weird in the sense of where we're getting to a point of going, technology's there. Yeah. Now I'm going to amplify this story to everyone. Yeah. So you could meet someone and they'll be like, oh, you went Barcelona last week, innit? Because I saw it on the gram, rather than actually having that true connection with you. Yeah. So that's why I'm questioning that connection. But I don't know how you go about that conversation. Nathan, guess what? Next week I'm going to France. Oh yeah, Michelle. I know I didn't reply to your last message. Nah, France.
It's been 6 months, bro. No, you know what? It's actually, you're right, because I've noticed I've been doing it. So just give everyone a bit of context. I'm doing this like this fitness thing where I've like, to kind of bulk up in a healthy way, I have to get lean. So get lean, cut fat. Once you're like at a certain level or a certain weight, your body's a bit more primed and sensitive to like gaining like healthy amount of weight, minimal fat, yada yada yada. And I've basically just been like showing people my before and after. So people that I know are sort of have mentioned they want to lose weight or whatever, or have mentioned them trying to get good with their diet. I'm just like, look, this is what I'm doing. This is my before, this is my after, or my current. This is what I eat. This is my diet. I do 10,000 steps, yada yada yada. And then when I first started showing people, I was a bit like, who do I think I am? Like, I'm probably like in their face.
Look.
But then when they saw it, they're like, raw, this is sick. Like, they're like, oh, what did you say you eat? What did you say you eat? Like, you know,
how many steps a day?
And I'm just like, okay. Like, I kind of get it in that. I think I've been fortunate enough to surround myself with good enough people who are fairly positive and open to this sort of thing. And again, for a lot of them, there's usually that aspect that is relevant. So I've spoken to people who have said they might want to lose weight. So there is that aspect, because I remember I was looking at my calendar and there's someone in my calendar who I've written for the end of December to contact them because they said they want to lose 10 kg. Yeah. And I was checking it now and I was like, okay, look. And that when it became relevant. So I sent this friend and I was like, look, this is my before and after. How are you getting on with your journey, by the way? Yeah. Just to give you a bit of encouragement. This is my before and my current. And they were like, oh, that's sick. And I'm like, look, if you want the plan, let me know. If you want the diet, talk to me. Like, I'm here. I'm doing what we said we'd do. How are you getting on? And it's that piece. Do
you know what's driving you from sharing like it even more?
What?
The fact of looking bad, having that whole opinion of why is this guy sending this to me?
Yeah, fam. Because I feel the pressure because this last week, don't judge me, people. A few things I don't know, like a few snacks have like slipped in my belly. Mistakes happen.
Fell over, hopped.
I fell on I've fallen on so many like little snacks, and I just thought minor, like what's one little thing, but stepping on the scales, I've really kind of seen it. Yeah. And because so many people know what I'm doing, I'm like, it's that accountability piece of these people are feeling. I can't, like, but this is good because I'm like, I can't.
They see you after Christmas and they saw that you put on weight.
They're like, what happened to you? I swear you had the 6. I'm like, fam, there's no escape. But it's good because I've put that accountability aspect out there. So people are like, oh, how's it going? How's it going? And I can't even, I'm just honest with it. I'm like, look, before they even ask, I'm like, look, listen, I put on a bit, yeah, cool, I'm going to get back down. But it helps because I'm like, actually, it helps with the growth, and that accountability aspect leads into them feeding into me as well. So I feed into them what I'm doing and how it could potentially help them, but they feed into me the accountability aspect, and it's that kind of back and forth of, you might not fully understand what I'm doing. It might not be relevant to you. It might not be a metric for you, but
I'm expressing myself.
I'm expressing myself, and there's still that back and forth value.
I think that's what it really is about. Like, I feel if you're in any relationship, friendship, and you can't express yourself, then it's not something that you should be in.
Yeah. It's just not. It's not.
Not even. It should be. You should just literally just harness whatever you want to express, and if the person don't want to listen, they can close their ears. But you're still gonna
get out there.
You know?
But how do you feel about in this kind of context of back and forth and giving and feeding into people, mincing. And when I say mincing, I mean kind of like a shit sandwich. Sugarcoating things, giving people shit. So I've noticed that with some people in my circle, some of them are fairly sensitive. Well, most of them are sensitive, which is why I do it. But I'm sort of starting to question whether or not I should be, because I'm sort of seeing it from an angle of give people what they want in the way they want it. If they want it covered in sugar, sugar bay. Hey, here you go. But this is what it is. I'm just at a point where I'm like, is this the best thing? It's right because they like it.
Because
and then they'll hear it. But
people will automatically shut off if you use the wrong words.
That's where it gets tricky.
If you go, I find you a bit of an arsehole, and then go into your point. Whatever you say after us, it's done. You know?
Find me a what? Huh?
So you think...
So is that what you think about
me? Listening? Like, we get triggered on certain words.
Yeah, I think now, because I heard this and it rings so true, a lot of the times people listen to respond and not listen to comprehend.
Yeah, that's it. So, you have to mince your words because you're trying to make sure that person understands where you're coming from. Rather than... And that's literally... We all have our little responses.
Yeah.
It could be... I don't even know what yours could be, but like if I went in a certain way and said a word or approached it in a certain way, regardless if it's coming from a good place, you're going to be like, well, this guy thinks, who is he? You know, all this sort of talk.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of be like, oh, like I mean this in the best way possible. And I've realized, and you said, and you know, all this other stuff. But you don't go, oh, but everything's fine. You still say your piece, but you just have to know the language. So a lot of times, if I've got something to say with people, I'm like, how do I want to phrase it? So they know something's coming. And I'm selecting words. Like the raw version is
there, but put a bit of Maggie barbecue. Let me marinate this for 5 minutes, and then
One thing I've noticed about you is so. How do you feel about that? Rather than you come
in public, so of everyone on Instagram Live. There's so many different levels and layers to it, to understanding people, the way they receive information, the way they like to be fed into, their sort of metrics of success, and they're just their general kind of metrics of life, and understanding how you can feed into that, understanding who to keep at a distance, how to love people. There's it's complicated because like you said, everyone is so unique and we all take things in so differently. I think what helps is, when you're in circles with people, you tend to have a lot of similarities and a lot of commonalities. So it kind of takes the edge off and makes it that bit much easier. But if you've known someone for a couple of years or a long time, you kind of know how they're best to react with and interact with and make those communication points, and whether or not you need to mince your words, add a bit of salt or Maggie or whatever the case is. Like you pick these things up over time, and I think it's just experience as well. It's just definitely sort of experience, but it's feeding into people and being fed into is, I think, it's important, and I think it's important to kind of analyze and look at how you feed into other people. So it's obviously all good and well us saying here, kind of like, what do people do for me, but also thinking about taking a step back and sort of analysing and kind of going, but what do I do for others? What value do I really kind of bring to other people's lives? Doesn't necessarily have to be me doing everything all day, but what can, people say, okay, Anton is really good at this.
I think the things that stand out is when you've gone like above and beyond and the other person can see it.
Yeah.
That's the ones that really, not even appreciation, but say someone does something for you, and it's not a thing that they could do. Like, I was passing through Tesco, so therefore I went in and picked up, I don't know, Ribena for you. Yeah. It's more the sense that they picked the berries for you and they crushed it at home, and it took them 2 weeks. But you start to appreciate that a lot more, right? And I think that's when it starts becoming like your lens of how they're feeding me changes. It's like that effort. When you see someone going beyond, they're taking this whole, you know what, I see that Ola is a bit thirsty. I could get him water, but I know he likes Ribena, but he likes the fresh Ribena.
Yeah.
I'm going to take, responsibility
With the
to make
fresh
sure that he
berries.
feels refreshed.
Fresh berry.
Maybe an extreme case, but it's just like, that's when it's truly valued. And that's me reflecting on how I pour into other people. I think naturally I can pour into people, but I know there's so much more within me. And that's when I'm starting to think with some of my relationships, like, what can I do for you? What more can I do for you?
Yes.
How can I really show my appreciation towards you?
Yeah.
So like there's little moments where, like, take my mother for example. I'm like, Mom, come get your paperwork together so we can sort out X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And I'm just saying, I'm just shouting from the sidelines, come on. Whereas I could be like, Mom, where is it? I'm in your room now. Yeah. Tell me where it is. Oh, it's there? Okay, staple. Boom.
Done.
And then she would see that as, he's actually actively trying. I've taken responsibility of, like, whatever I said we're going to do together, rather than me just placing it on her and saying, come on, get your paperwork together, then we do it. Yeah. I'm actually like, Mum, all right, cool, we're in this room together. Where is it?
Let's get cracking. It's the whole proactive piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's just one of those ones that is day to day. So you just have to be aware of what's going on, how it affects you, how you affect others, interaction, and there's nothing real, like, it's just a food for thought, really. Isn't it? Yeah. I like that, food for thought. Yeah. No, brilliant. On that note, we'll bring this episode to a close.
Yes.